If Christian Horner had his way, Hamilton would be doing 25 to...
I hereby sentence you to serve 125 years in the custody of the Commissioner of the Department of Corrections.
Right about now. I jest, of course. At least 10 years for manslaughter. At least.
You're crazy. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I?
On the weekend just gone, Lewis Hamilton won the British Grand Prix.
He wins the British Grand Prix for an 8th time!
In another, what I'd say, epic comeback drive, having been given a 10-second penalty.
He started his stopwatch, as the great Murray Walker would say. He's having a look at it and he's going to tap all the guys.
But this win didn't go down without its controversy, as in the first lap, Lewis Hamilton and Verstappen bumped wheels, which ended up with Max Verstappen spinning off into Narnia, which then triggered a blame game. Was it Lewis Hamilton's fault? Was it Max Verstappen's fault?
Lewis expected Max to back out of it. Max expected Lewis to get back out of it.
And depending on who you're a fan of more, right, what I've also noticed in the comments is that if you're a Lewis Hamilton fan, yeah, myself included, it's seen as a racing incident. The unbiased, what you say, the commentary and the commentators and the sports officials, they kind of came to the same conclusion.
Racing incidents.
I think they will say, I think the stewards will decide.
If you ask me, they could have both done more to avoid the incident. I would put it down as a racing incident.
But then if you're a Verstappen fan, it's seen as a clear and deliberate shunting and ramming off the road. So to be honest, I'm a fan of Lewis Hamilton, so I put my hands up. My opinion may be somewhat biased, right? But I'm going to try and stick to the facts and what I can see on screen. Yeah, as in my opinion, the way that Christian Horner and his racing boss, what is his name? I can't remember, Marco or whatever it is. The way that they've exaggerated the situation.
Thank goodness the biggest result for us today is that he was uninjured. You know, he's having to go to hospital for precautionary checks after, you know, a 51G accident. So, yeah, I hope Lewis is very happy with himself.
Do you see this? Oh my God, I'm not...
Implying that Lewis Hamilton somehow...
desperate, you know, and he's put a competitor, thank goodness, uninjured, but he's put in hospital, you know, getting himself checked out.
And used Verstappen as a bumper or as a shield, as a bumper or a buffer or whatever it is, to bounce off him to go around the corner, in which Verstappen goes flying off and Hamilton continues.
You did that on purpose.
This is such a wild accusation. It's just ludicrous, absolute ludicrous. Because when you watch the footage itself, you can see, yes, Hamilton does come up alongside him as he goes into the corner, but then Hamilton backs out, which then initially gives Verstappen the lead as they're going around the corner. But then as they continue around the corner, Verstappen, rather than keep a line, tightens up, in which the wheels clash. You know what I mean? Now, a lot of people say, well, Hamilton should have been closer to the curb, which, okay, fair enough, he could have been closer to the curb. But then the argument is, with the amount of track on the other side, yeah, and Verstappen knowing full well that Hamilton's still there, because you know what? He has got mirrors. To argue that Verstappen couldn't have maintained a straighter line, yeah, just to keep the car going around the corner, well, it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. You know what I mean? So therefore, it's concluded to be a racing incident and not a deliberate, malicious, what as Christian Horner would put it, it was a tactical foul or some stupidness like that, right?
Lewis Hamilton is an 8-time world champion. You know that he shouldn't be making manoeuvres like that.
Now, having said all of that, yeah, and I think this argument will go on forever, because I've seen, since doing this video, when I've recorded it, I've seen reports of Christian Horner trying to take Lewis Hamilton to court, or not take him to court, but using lawyers to prove that, the data shows on the computer analyzing what your bits and bobs. He says, oh, it was intentional, right? And therefore, Lewis Hamilton should be punished greater than that 10-second penalty, and he's trying to look to get him banned, right? And all of those suggestions, all of that extraness that Christian Horner and Marco were going on with, right, has kind of like stoked a little bit of a race row, as in, oh, you know, where you've got the, I would say your white liberals kind of interfering a little bit here by saying, oh no, you know, they're only doing it because they're racist towards Lewis Hamilton. And for me personally, I don't want to believe that, right? And initially after the race, and you know what I mean, I didn't even think that until I saw the reports later, and then I saw about the tweets and all of the monkey emoji tweets that he was getting from certain Verstappen fans and anti-Hamilton supporters, yeah. But at the same time, I still don't think that, you know, that isn't that's a reason to accuse Christian of being racist or anything like that, because there's no evidence to prove that. What I would say is that there's evidence to show that he is a bit of a when things don't go his own way, and if he's not getting his own way, you know, he's the first one to be on the dome. Up to the FIA. The FIA chairman and people like that say, oh, you know, did you see what happened? I want him punished. You know, he's a bit like that. Like I said, drama queenish.
Michael, have you got a minute?
Hello.
Yeah, Michael, look, that corner, he was never anywhere near alongside. Every driver that's driven at this circuit knows you do not stick a wheel up the inside at Copse. You know, that's an enormous accident. And it was 100% Max's corner. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, full blame lays on Hamilton, who should never have been in that position. So, you know, you could have had a massive, you know, accident. Thank God he's walked away unscathed. So I hope you're going to deal with it appropriately. I hope you're going to deal with it appropriately. I hope you're going to deal with it appropriately.
Bite my shiny metal ass.
A spoiled brat in them situations, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry you're sad. I know, honey. We'll get another one someday. So sorry, sweetheart.
The one thing that does concern me about what happened on Sunday in the race is how is the acceptance of Max Verstappen being allowed to drive aggressively, right, whilst other drivers are not. Let's say that. And what I mean by that is this: since over the years, right, it's been stated that Max has got an aggressive driving style, right? And there's this idea or this notion that if you and him are going into a corner, and it's not just Hamilton, it's any driver, if you and him are going into the corner, he's not going to back out. So therefore, because of his aggressive driving style, it's better that you move out the way.
Oh, and Verstappen kind of invited Raikkonen to go down the inside and then cut him off.
I had to go on brakes not to hit him.
I think we talked about the moving under braking, and it works as long as the car behind just plays accordingly, and as long as the car behind just plays accordingly and lives with it. But the moment somebody sticks to his line, both cars crash.
Right? This has seemed to have become a common thing now with him, which he has now adopted into this thing where he feels that he is king of the corner, or he has the rite of passage to be able to conduct maneuvers in which other drivers, when they practice that same maneuver, they will be deemed as, oh, that's not acceptable, that's not sportsmanlike, but he gets away with it. Now you can call it pettiness on my side, but this is exactly what happened on Sunday. Yeah, Hamilton had adopted Verstappen's style in his aggressive way, as in, I'm not backing out of this corner, I'm not going to back down to you, I'm not going to stand, I'm not going to yield, should I say.
And none of us backed out, and that was the end result. In
which, again, Verstappen ended off being the victim of his own principles. You know what I mean? Right? And I feel that, I think that Hamilton should not be reprimanded for that, because it's a dangerous precedent to set within the sport itself. You know what I mean? because then other drivers, because it gives Verstappen a pass that others can't get.
But when someone's just too aggressive, these things are bound to happen.
And it's not as if Verstappen himself is not, let's say, adverse to having a few incidents himself, you know what I mean, causing other people to go off the track. Let's have a look, shall we?
Verstappen goes down the inside on Raikkonen, and it's a chain reaction. Sebastian Vettel stranded in the middle of the track.
I mean, am I the only one, or are you not seeing what I'm seeing? He's just backing me off into Ricciardo.
They touch the two Red Bulls and Ricciardo going wide into turn 2.
Someone hit me. If that's who I think it was. Yes.
Yeah, understood, mate, we can see.
Verstappen on the inside of Vettel, they have touched! That was inevitable from the moment Verstappen decided to go for it.
So anyway, I'm glad this happened. And for two reasons, yeah? One, the first reason, Hamilton's showing that, you know what? He's still got that aggressive drive. And he's not going to allow himself to be intimidated by anyone, yeah? So if it comes down to getting your elbows out in the corners or getting your elbows out in the straight, yeah? And he's letting not just Verstappen, but letting everyone know, well, you know what?
I would never back down from anyone, and I would, naturally would not be bullied into being less aggressive. I think today, this weekend, we needed the points, and there was a gap. He left a gap, and I went for it.
So that's a good part for Hamilton. And then secondly, I think that for Verstappen, this could be like a blessing in disguise, because for me, this could be that last feather in the peak of his cap to take him from an outstanding driver to be a future GOAT driver, right? In the sense that he will now learn to pick his battles per corner, rather than thinking that he has license or he has a passage or the right of way to every corner on every track. He'll now kind of like suss the situation a little bit better. Okay, then so-and-so's beside me here, or so-and-so's behind me, coming up fast. You know what I mean? I don't need to keep weaving all over the place. You know what? I might just do what Hamilton did back in Spain, where I'll let him pass, and then I'll catch him on the flip side. You know what I'm saying?
And Lewis did well to just step out of it and live for another 66 laps.
But that's just my opinion. And as per usual, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.
Yes. Am I? Yes. Am I? Yes.